possibilities and pitfalls of our digital age. From AI wonders to futuristic gadgets, let's explore whether we are headed towards utopia or tech overload. Get ready for some mind-bending ride. So ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for our next panelists to share their insights on the topic. Time for a tech nirvana. We have Jeff Seyferth and Lena Kluckendar? Thank you.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
It was a very interesting conversation that we just witnessed.
Yes.
And that, a lot of the things that they brought up are what I am seeing with the incoming tech nirvana. With me, it's not a question of if there is a tech nirvana, it's when. And it's not when, it's overdue. 50 years ago, we went to the moon, and we haven't been back because of policies, not because of technology, not because of desire of the citizens. It is because of policies in the government. The technology is here, the motivation, the talent is here in this country, in this world. We all want to unite and to see a tech nirvana. And that's why I'm so excited, because that's what my business is this upcoming tech nirvana. And I'm a writer, and I've been writing and having a vision of this for about 14 years at least. So very excited about this topic.
Hello, my name is Lena Kudakar. I'm the founder and CEO of Krishnakash Technology Services. And I think what Jeff introduced was a very subtle and important point. I would like to start by saying, when we say tech nirvana, let's take a moment to look at the word nirvana. It's a Sanskrit word, and what it originally, what we were taught about it is nirvana means to extinguish or to blow out. And what are we extinguishing? That restlessness, that constant desire to do something, either different or better, and to end the state of suffering, basically. But to end the state of suffering, behind that is the trick that you want to get away from the wants and desires because they are never ending. Now, when we bring this into the context of tech, now I'm shifting gears, I know, but when we bring it in the context of tech, I would say that I don't think we can say, oh, I want nirvana tomorrow. Yes and no. Either we are in nirvana or it is incremental nirvana, according to me. And we are making things better and better. We have the next gen of something. So from the world of technology, we've always had next gen. So we develop something and we come up with better ways to do things. We throw that away, or we improve it, or we come up with a next gen, and we keep going. And I think that's what touches the nirvana. It's not like, okay, we are done, we are in nirvana. And the other point I would like to say quickly is, if we want to say tech nirvana, I know we all want to make the world a better place for everyone. We still need to define tech nirvana for humanity as the end users, the tech industry, the individual end user, the software developer, or the tech IT professional. All these different entities have different definitions of nirvana. I would like to throw that out there. I don't know if you agree.
So when I talk about tech nirvana, what I'm seeing, what I envision is, number one, the end of unemployment, and number two, free high-speed wireless internet to everybody on the planet. The internet is the greatest economic engine we've had, and we haven't even touched what we're doing. If you look at how the internet's being used, it's being used to supplement, to add to the existing processes of the previous generation, the current generation. People still call on the phone, but it's on the internet. I'm not impressed with how we've treated the internet, but I am so excited about 2.0 because free wireless internet is going to be the greatest economic driver that I can envision, and that's how I'm going to end unemployment, or at least that's how unemployment is going to be ended. It's digital money, and it's not, and that's right. I invented Scholars in 2010, and since then I've been working on. I'm a writer, and envisioning where our species is going to end up, and the internet is the greatest thing that we could do. It is hardly any cost to provide internet, and we pay taxes. That's what our taxes should be providing to help the economy so that we get jobs, and that's the social contract, right? And the social contract now is just being overwritten. It is being ignored. It is being exploited by those in charge of writing our policies, those in big tech who have the lobbyists to write the policies, and that is what is holding us back. It is the policies. It is not the technology. Gen AI is okay. I'm not super excited about Gen AI bringing us tech nirvana, but other artificial intelligences is. Gen AI is very resource intensive. It is not good for our environment. However, though, one of the other things that I'm also excited about is the upcoming green tech evolution. That is what is also going to be so exciting, because when we can provide unlimited power, near unlimited power to every human being, and soon, I was in here yesterday and they're talking about wireless electricity, and that is so awesome. That is the tech nirvana. That's what technology is going to allow us to break these invisible chains of our species. And I am just excited, wrote a few books on it.
Yeah, thank you for listing the wish list and the to-do list, and I think you're spot on about all the different things that this will bring, and calling it nirvana. I still tend to think it's incremental, but these are great things on the list, and we can add more and more on the list. From what I understand, like if I can sum up what you're saying is, you have picked some very good aspects of our society where how the solutions are going to solve societal problems, and these are some very important ones. And I'm sure we have others. We have the data privacy, we have the cyber security, we have the alleviation of anxiety for, in general, security. We have our AVs, antiviruses, our softwares have a long way to go. So we have all those things. Those can also be on the wish list of the tech nirvana. All I'm saying is, all that is great, and I'm not here to list that, because I think the list cannot end and say, okay, tomorrow, this is the point in time where we have tech nirvana. And that's not being pessimistic, I'm just saying that we are happily, incrementally going forward, and we're all trying to make the world a better place, and that's the best part. But again, when we say, so if we solve a problem, is that nirvana? Is that what you're saying?
So you mentioned earlier about nirvana being the ends of wants and needs. That's not at all what I think is ever going to happen. We are becoming even more greedier as a species. Our expectations are getting raised every day. And it's not an end of want or needs, it's end of no purpose. There is a lack of purpose in this country, in every country, and it's getting united. And that's in one of the speeches yesterday I heard. It was purpose-driven businesses outperform twice what a regular business does. And it is, yes, incremental is what we've got to do, right? But
it has to be incremental.
But what is going on right now is that we have the smartest people ever alive. We are more interconnected. We have almost all knowledge in our phone. So what is holding us back? It is not that people in each industry that you had mentioned, because in each of those industries, there is a next generation uprising that is happening, and it's people that already mastered the current generation, what they do, and how it works for them, and then it's people, the next generation. I got my next generation shoes on, seeing what was already done, and then coming up with something that is truly worth next generation. My currency is next generation currency because it's digital money, it is client owned, and it is a profit sharing currency. And the difference between the current generation is US dollars, right? The reserve currency of the world is a debt-based currency. So anything we ever do is just going to add more debt and more loans to the economy. That's how the economy grows. And that is absolutely stupid to me. So that's what my business is. That's what my currency is, and then it's also the businesses associated, the brands associated with scholars. Time-based money is the exclusive coiner of scholars. When I actually do decide to bring it to market, but right now it is having the vision, because that is what a leader needs to do, is to set the vision and then convince and get the demand from employees, from customers, clients, from the officials that actually do make the policies and the decisions here that actually matter to people's lives. It is getting to them, and that's what the next generation, we've been quiet, we've been biding our times, paying our dues, and that is what is going to change. I'm 40 years old now. I call myself an adult. So it is now starting to talk to people and getting word out about that there is an alternative. It is not just wake up, work 40 hours a week, talk about inflation, and then pay your 30-year mortgage. That is the definition of current generation. And if you want to talk to somebody you talk to a young person about how this society is set up, how the economy is, there's a lack of, there's no respect for it, and that's fine. It doesn't deserve respect, but it deserves solutions though, and that's where the money is in solutions. It's not just going along with.
Let me catch that keyword, solutions. Hit the nail on the head. Say yes. If each individual were to do their best part in their best mind, they would be working towards providing solutions to problems, or providing the best solutions. Now that's again relative, and yes, we go on providing solutions. And I would say that in particular, the tech pioneers and the tech industry will work hard to provide solutions from their, whatever is in their control for the rest of the world. While doing so, are we raising the world's expectations? I would like to throw that out there. So all that you said is absolutely great, and that does not get contradicted by this point I'm saying, is if we think our job is to make things really nice and easy and great for everyone, of course, we want to remove any injustice, and like you said, we want to remove unemployment. That's a very noble thought. But at the same time, in our good intentions of making the world better, are we raising people's expectations? Now look at kids, our next generation. Are we thinking about them? Are we equipping them? Or are we giving them things where they are, which raises their expectations, basically?
So what I'll say is that the best thing that we can do for young people is to raise their expectations. they should not be satisfied or allowed to accept this, whatever the society is run. We need to, first of all, it's number one is raising expectations. Because once people expect change, then there will be change. When there is no expectations, that's how people, the current generation, the leaders that aren't forward thinking, that are just thinking quarter at a time, how to get Wall Street profits. That's not a long-term solution. That is not going to help the young people. And that's, I call my company is called The Everlasting. I don't call it for myself, I call it for my clients. My clients, I want them to live forever. And we start by raising the expectations that they could. There's breakthroughs in science, in health that are, and it's not necessarily that you live longer, it's you live longer. That needs to be the expectation. And it's not being burnt out and run to the ground by corporations that are working us 50, 60 hours, and it is about using the technology that is coming available. I was having a conversation earlier with AI pioneer, and we were talking about the benefits of AI and just talking about the time save. It is, that is where the technology, to me, is so exciting, is the time freeing up to allow us to do more valuable tasks, more valuable actions to us. That's what gets me excited about the technology. It's the freeing up to do more important things.
Yeah, and I would like to clarify that I think we are using expectations in two different contexts. So yes, we definitely should keep the expectations that the right should happen, to do right. And that should be instilled to make change. So if a child is saying that, oh, I don't have a recycle bin here, let me go and reach out to someone, can we please have a recycle? So that kind of change, that kind of, we want to instill those values in children, definitely. What I'm talking about is, I want to do this in one click and not 3 clicks. That's the kind of, luxury is what I would say. I think there's a fine line, probably what I was talking about, but not the word expectations. It depends on the context, of course.
Well,
yeah,
the kids are already expecting things to happen already. You look at movies. I know that when I watch science fiction movies, part of me is jealous. Like, why can't we do this? They can imagine this. So what's holding us back? And as I'm meeting more and more next generation leaders in different industries, the breakthroughs could be happening. It's a lack of money, right? One of the other panels, everything's possible through money, right? Well, I hope so, because that's all I care about is money, right? But I don't care, well, time-based money, I should say, right? Because that is what is the most important thing in the world, right? To each of us. We only have 24 hours a day, right? And out of that 24 hours a day, how much of that is considered economically valued in the current generation? Maybe 40 hours if somebody else decides that your time is valuable, right? But the other time, 24 hours a day, what's that? That's negative money, because you gotta pay rent, you gotta pay taxes, there's endless taxes. You gotta pay for food, right? There's no support for you. So if you're not making money, you're losing money. And that's, if you're a young person, how are you supposed to feel about your country? There's not a lot of excitement in this in the Gen Z, right? They're having a harder,
they need motivation.
Motivation, they need support, they need guidance, we shouldn't be trying to take advantage of them and make them work for minimum wage while the big boss makes money. That's how it's set up, right? That's how everything's set up, is to take advantage of the younger people, basically. And that's not fair, because this is an economy, right? Everything that the economy, like Bill Clinton ran it, the economy's stupid, right? So we can't have nice things because of the economy. We have to have austerity because of the economy, and that's just total junk. That's I don't agree with that, and I don't think that is any way to live, and that's not civilization. That is just getting by, and it's just short-term thinking, one after another, piling on, and the technology that we have available, it's getting there, and it is just an exciting time, but it's also, for some people that are thinking ahead of the future, but for a lot of people, this is one of the scariest times to ever be alive.
Yes, that is what. So, let's say for a moment, all good points, and I could see you being the Batman, and if everybody wants to be that, that's great, but then we are talking about making the world a better place. Would we call that nirvana? Because like meerkats, we make something better, something else is going to spring up. So it's just about the terms. I wouldn't call it a tech nirvana. I would just say that we are in a far better position now than before. And I think that we have more and more people thinking of, it's, again, that is relative. And in some aspects, we are not. So I think if the topic is what are the solutions to make things better and what are some good ideas, I think you had some great ideas to bring to and I'm sorry I didn't bring many of them because I just am looking at it globally and saying, this isn't technical, this isn't nirvana.
I've been writing about this for 14 years, so I
Thank you.
didn't need to make the list. But yeah, so the tech nirvana, what I call it is evolution.
Yes.
And that is what I'm so excited for. And this is something that I saw 14 years ago. I called evolution. My point isn't necessarily what interests me. What drives me isn't to get attention, right, or make money in the short term. It's to be a pioneer, a thought leader, to see where the vision is, where we're going. Call it, get that timestamp, and then work on the rest of it later, because it's a team effort. Batman doesn't work by himself all the time, right? He's got Alfred, right?
It's like we have to be all individual Batmans and then work as a team.
AI Alfred. That's what technology should be doing. It's your butler, your assistant, to make you the greatest human being that you can be, greatest citizen. That's what excites me, because in the next generation, there's no limits to how much money you can make, how long you can live. But in the current generation, in America here, you turn 65 and then the government gives you money not to work ever again. How stupid is that? Why I say that is because the older people are the most valuable people that we can have in a society, and we need to treat our older people much, much better than we currently are. We need to value them right now. So it's young people that are coming up, and then it's the older people, the older generation with their wisdom, to help raise them up with their knowledge, with their guidance, their love and support, their compassion. We know so many secrets of the world right now. And still, this country, the civilization, we go to Las Vegas is looking pretty cool right now. But outside, nothing has changed in a lot of towns, right? In 50 years. But now, we can't afford that. We can't afford to just sit around and do nothing. In America, these other countries are India. I'm so impressed with how India is driving this technology. I work with in my 9 to 5. We've got India big teams, and they're some of the best people I've worked with. But it is coming together, though. It is realizing that we're citizens of the world. We're citizens of Earth. And we need to not just treat each other better and value each other more. We need to fix this planet because we're in the middle of a climate crisis that is driven by greed, it is driven by short-term thinking, and it's driven by the not investing in the new technologies that will allow us to be free, that will allow us to get onto Mars, get onto the moon, and live there.
All great points, and in a parallel track, great points, and thank you. I wouldn't have come up with all of them, but I think people hearing all this are lucky. I would like to read your book. On a parallel track, I would like to say, I'm going to catch on another word, limits. So, like I said, it's never ending. While we are solving problems and while we are making things better for the world, are we making the same world weaker? What I mean by weaker, and being, it's a little complex, not saying that don't keep expectation. I don't want to give the wrong impression. What I'm trying to say is, and on a parallel track, we also want to make humanity intrinsically stronger. Internally stronger, in the sense, yes, we want to do all these great things that you just listed, want to be the Batman. At the same time, we want to enable that spiritual strength. And speaking of tech or not, nirvana, I would say, as long as you're talking about all these things on the list, they're still in the material world. You want to step out. And that's a parallel track. I mean, you keep doing that. I'm not saying don't, it's not an either or. It's complementary. So while we are improving the material world, we want to step out. Even in the tech sense, we want to step out and be an observer and look at where are we going. Otherwise, it's going to be never ending. And that's what will make us individually strong, and as a community, it will make us strong, is what I feel. Like when I say step out, it's mean, okay, the next gen, throw it out of the window, next gen, throw it out of the window, next gen. But as long as you're involved in that, it's just the world is going on. But if you step out and watch like an observer, you're a stronger person and you're a stronger community. And I think that complementing both together can be tech nirvana. What do you think?
Having that observer mentality is, I love it. If you step back, and that's what I love about traveling too, is that that's allowed me to experience new cultures, and to see how the other people live it, to observe, and the more you observe, like, you gotta question, what are we doing, right? So it's like you had said, we want to be more valuable, but that is the opposite of what big tech is treating us. Big tech looks at us, they're advertisers, right? And so they want to just treat us like a product, just to throw, the algorithm, right, is to just suck your time in, to just suck your time in so they can throw more ads in you. There's nothing empowering that I'm seeing except for the influencers, right, that are actually the small amount that actually make money on TikTok. The rest are just watching and helping to feed the beast. But what is, and something that I saw recently too, was kids today in America are growing up wanting to be YouTubers and not astronauts. And that is embarrassing. That is embarrassing. That's and that was an American stat. China was still raising astronauts, but that to me, when I saw that I'm still not over it. However, though, the YouTube does. I'm an old YouTuber from 2010, but it is. There's some good things with YouTube, right? But it is just a TV channel that there's throwing advertisements, and the more time goes on, the more advertisements are thrown in front of us, the more intrusive the advertisements are. The speakerphones, like the Amazon speakerphones, are listening to you, and they're throwing ads that they hear keywords that you say, and that is a lack of privacy. So besides time, privacy is also my biggest, one of my biggest concerns. And I don't say I care about privacy in the sense of how it's being treated right now in the current generation, where nothing happens with your data, right? Your data is, it's supposed to be yours, but the companies use it. You don't get any money for it. Companies use it to better influence you. But we could be doing privacy a lot better because it is valuable. And if you can think of privacy as having an economic value, which I do, then you can think about how to make money from it. And when you can learn how to make money from it, that's when there will be changes. Because the economy, I love the economy. It's one of the greatest forces in humanity. Because if we can unite in the economy, and that's what we do right now, we agree that US dollars are valuable and we exchange, right? But if we could do that better, which I am confident that we can, especially with free wireless internet provided to everybody, and not just anywhere on Earth, anywhere we can get a signal to and get people to, because Internet 2.0 is access. It's an access economy. That is where we need to be going to. Access economy, that's how we end unemployment. We value human beings more, not necessarily if they're where they were born at, because that's irrelevant to, is where you were born. What is important is what you think now, what you are committed to, what you've learned, we're citizens of the world, and if we can look at each other as that, instead of looking at somebody as they're trying to steal a piece of your pie, because it is not. I don't believe in zero-sum game. It's not. There's no zero-sum game. There's always a benefit to somebody. So if we can figure that out and more equitably share the profits and figure out how the profits are being made, there is going to be no limit to where we can unite each other as clients, as client owners, because this planet is ours. We're client owners of this planet, right? And so the technology that we have now that people thousands of years before didn't have, they didn't have this opportunity. We have this. We have the internet. We have AI making strides to help save our time, to be our assistant. The green tech, if we can start investing in better renewables, because the wind and solar, that's no answer. That's creating more junk. But we can get our energy figured out, because that's the data centers that are using up our data right now. They are using up so much resources, but the data is going to keep coming. We make data, and I love data. Data is one of my favorite things.
Yes, but we just have to be careful not to make too much useless data. Like, we try to narrow it down, and probably.
Well, what's
But
to say what's useless data? Because we are living not for ourselves. We're living for our community. We pay taxes. We support. We get benefits, right? We have our community, and we live for future generations. I'm not a parent, but other people are. And if we keep that in mind, that this data, everything that we do has repercussions. We've got to stop thinking that we are just on our own and nothing matters, because it does. It's going to reverberate. The changes we make now, the improvements we make, is how we are going to be looked at as heroes by our future generations, because we are going to be the ones to stand up and make a difference, and not allow the just the same status quo to keep coming, because if we do, there's only one way, if we maintain the status quo, there's only one way the species ends, right? There's only one future for the species.
No, not status quo. All great, but so what I would say is, just to sum up, even to about this conversation, I would say technological advancement is a double-edged sword. Is what you're saying in a sense. It's a double-edged sword. So we have to be really, it's like a skill, and you have to be very careful about how we use it and what we implement and what we invent. So there is a parallel track, and the good example that you gave is the kids want to be YouTubers. Like, just take that example. So do we want to equip them with, just very enthusiastically or just loosely with technology, or do we want to govern it, and do we want to, it's hard, it's not a very easy problem to solve. It's like a slippery slope. It's like, that's why I call it a double-edged sword. There's a plus and a minus, but all things good, nothing's going wasted in any of these ideas, because it's still in that material track, and we need another parallel track with it, even for the tech.
Yeah, the YouTuber, that's a double-edged sword, because there's a YouTuber version of kids going around pranking people, hitting people, getting views, and just worthless content. But then a YouTuber making scientific shows that are breakthroughs, there is definitely, and then it starts with education. It's getting our kids educated, because it's just basics. It's a lot of this is basics, and then but when you throw millions of dollars into YouTube, or the kids hear about what this Mr. Beast or whatever is making 10 million, however much making, that is what's throwing a cog into the thinking of these young people. Is, why do I have to work hard? Why do I have to go to school and learn things if I can just go make YouTube videos? But if you make great YouTube videos with high valuable content that's educational, that is the YouTube we need.
Yes, so the ones who made those educational YouTube videos and guided the next generation were hitting the root cause. And the ones who did it wrong were not hitting the root cause. And the root cause is not in just just advancement for the sake of advancement. The root cause is to look and make each individual stronger. Stronger in the sense, now strong is again a vague word. What I mean is, thinking right is a skill. Right action is what the ancients called it right karma. So ultimately it boils down to equipping at the individual, the macro and the micro levels, what it takes to do right action is what I think you're also saying. Because if everyone were to know what is the right action to take at this moment, that's nirvana.
And so we're talking about incentives now, and that's one of my favorite things. Charlie Munger says, you get what you incentivize. And what are we incentivizing right now? We're incentivizing people to earn dollars above anything else. And we're not giving support, we're not giving enough guidance to people to know to young people to know what the right thing is. And that's what can change when the internet is provided to everybody. And it is to incentivize better behavior. And that's what we should be doing. This is a free country, they say, right? But so-called land of the free. But if so you can't so there's an inherent freedom that we all feel in this country, and that you want to have your independence. But but I would love to get paid to do the right thing, and I think that is what a lot of other people would love to get to, is to just make money for doing the right things. Instead, of what's going on now is kids are, in America, kids are forced to go to school, as in high school, grade school, right? And then the government says, okay, well, we want you to go to college, so here, we'll give you a bunch of loans, then you pay us back. How is that investing? That's not investing. That is taking advantage. And that makes me furious. But the internet, what the internet allows is the access economy, where people can learn almost anything on the internet now. And there's still value in going to university, but it is a whole new ballgame with the internet here and with Internet 2.0. Do we have any questions? We're wrapping this up. All right, well, it was great to talk about this out loud. I'm jeffrey.mba. You can go to my website there. I call myself the Black Swan Central Banker. Another nickname I have for myself is Next Level Jobs on the Moon. I usually write, so said you want to read my book. I got a few books. I got a few different author names as well. Theory of Monotivity is written by Jeffrey Optimus Salinger. The Species Contract in V2, which is my main book. That's written by Jeffrey James Rex. And then the book that I'm currently working on is called Witness Me Drift Tokyo to the Moon, and that's by Jeffrey James Superman.